My wonderful listeners. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Languages Pedagogy Podcast. Today we have our episode 97. This episode has also two parts. Episode 97, 98. This time we have a new guest. Wonderful teacher here, Melanie Stevenson. She's talking and she's sharing a lot of information in this two-part series about fluency. What happened with these gurus that actually just talk about being fluent in a native level in 3 months? Well, we're debunking these myths about reaching fluency in 3 months. And of course, we're going to be sharing a lot of information, a lot of personal stories as well. This episode is Fluency in 3 months, the reality behind language learning gurus. We're going to be analyzing viral fluency methods and whether they actually work. So, let's stop the talk here and let's just go straight to the conversation with Melanie Stevenson. Hope you all enjoy it.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for inviting me.
Wow, it's such a pleasure actually to meet you,
Yeah.
to meet a lot of teachers actually around the world. And it's a pleasure to me to meet you and to find out a little bit more about what you do.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I am a teacher, have been a teacher actually since I was 19.
Whoa.
Yeah, I graduated from university a little early and I couldn't find a job. And so I went to my younger sister's high school principal because she was still in high school and said, "Listen, I can't find a job anywhere. Uh, do you have a part-time teaching position that I could?" That's how
Yeah.
it started.
Well, I think that's pretty
Yeah,
much common to all of us, maybe. Pretty much common.
I'd say
Sometimes
so.
teachers started like that and they don't know actually exactly the career they want. And suddenly it comes little by little.
Exactly. Well, I was 19 and unaware of how the world worked, very naive. And I was shocked that the United Nations didn't hire me as soon as I sent them my application.
Whoa.
So I learned about that quickly. And over the
Well,
years, yeah, I started teaching French and Spanish because my degree is in French and Spanish.
wow, that's amazing. That sounds really good
Yeah.
there.
And I started teaching in Guyana, where I'm from, and then years later moved to Canada and taught French to elementary school age.
Yeah.
And then in 2017, I was asked to volunteer to teach ESL to a refugee family who had moved
Whoa.
from Iraq to Canada. And a light
Wow.
bulb went off after all those years. And
Wow.
I went back to school. I got my teacher of ESL certification, and I've been teaching ESL since. Yeah, now I teach ESL and accent training because now I live in the US and we do have a need for people who want to sound a little more American or North American.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting there. That's a pretty cool one actually.
Oh,
Because
thanks.
today actually I post something in on LinkedIn today. It's like
Okay.
nativism,
Oh,
you know.
that's a big debate.
Ooh, pretty deep one
Hmm.
there. Pretty deep one there. And well, today's topic is about that, but it's really good that you're actually here with us and that you're actually just ready to share with all the audience about your experience, your expertise on these
Yeah.
matters. It's really good. Many people, many teachers, new teachers are actually coming to this field, to this crazy field, which is called
Yeah.
teaching. Education,
I
the world
I
upside
know.
down.
I know. And I am hoping that AI will hit us last.
My God. Let's see how it
Yeah,
goes.
right, right.
Well, that's pretty good,
Hmm.
Melanie. You get a really good background there. So you're
Yeah,
still
thanks.
teaching Spanish, French, and English?
Act Actually, I teach mainly English as a second
Got it.
language and accent training. The accent training is for advanced students, and ESL is for anyone, beginner all the way to advanced.
Got it.
And through my company, Diction HQ, we have a dedicated Spanish teacher who teaches our Spanish classes.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah. She's from Colombia. She's got a master's in education, and she does a wonderful job. And she doesn't, I speak Spanish with an Anglo accent.
Got it. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
come out with the gringo accent there.
Not as bad as hola, como estás?
I was gonna tell you that one.
Okay, sorry. No, okay, not that bad, but
Okay, that's perfect then. That's
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, so you got your company there, Diction
Yes.
HQ. Can you tell us a
Uh,
little bit about what do you mean by Diction HQ?
well, you know the dictionary.
Got it?
Uh, yeah, diction means the ability to speak clearly so that you are understood by everyone.
Mhm.
So, do you have good diction? Do you have poor diction?
Got it.
And HQ headquarters.
The headquarters.
Because we
Got it.
like to say we are your language learning headquarters at Diction
Oh,
HQ. Yeah, that's
that
what.
sounds really good, huh? Quite
Yeah, yes.
cinematic. I'd imagine something really cool coming out from behind it. And
Oh,
all
I
the
like that.
wow, that
That's
sounds
good.
really
That's good.
good. Well, I hope I can actually see something cinematic actually from the promos from your company. That would be really
Well,
cool.
you're giving me ideas, and yeah. Well, right now, on my Instagram page, I do short little videos, and because
Oh,
filming and editing is not my strong suit, I
got it.
they're really short and simple.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah, but I'll
It's
have to
is it
get
about
somebody.
is it about what exactly the videos are about?
Mostly pronunciation, difficult
Got it.
sounds that non-English speakers might have. So I do a mini lesson.
Oh,
Yeah,
so that's
related
pretty
to a
interesting
specific
there.
sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Mhm.
you actually upload them in on LinkedIn?
I do, yes.
Mm,
Yeah, so
that's
I
great.
do them on Instagram and LinkedIn the following day usually.
Not X. You're
Um,
anti-X.
I long before X became political, I just felt overwhelmed by um, the quantity of information on X, and I felt
Yeah.
that my information would be lost.
Mm.
So I was, well, back on Twitter
Hmm.
like
Got
five
it.
years ago for about a year, and then I gave up.
That's it. Oh,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. Well, it's totally different from me. I actually keep my
Mhm.
X pretty much
Okay.
active, but my Instagram it's quite like really low. I basically have no
Oh,
Instagram.
I
Just
see.
stay
All right.
with X and LinkedIn.
Okay. And do you get a lot of engagement or interaction with X?
Well, I can't complain. I think it's pretty much
Okay.
okay. No, not that
Okay,
bad.
good, good. Hmm.
It's quite sad actually to see that these social networks, instead of like being more helpful or like being more positive in a sense that
Hmm.
you are learning something that is really useful for you,
Right,
languages, teaching, learning, things like
right.
that, always actually gets
Because
the
it's
lowest
not
engagement. It's not
yeah,
political,
dramatic.
it's not dramatic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not controversial.
Exactly, you got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna have to do something related to languages or education that can sound very controversial so I can get more people
Well,
engaging into the
w-
topic.
I know, if I may, you might have to edit this out, but if you say, well, there is only one correct English accent,
Oh my goodness.
then you'll get
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it.
Definitely. Definitely. Oh, geez. Well, that's pretty
Yeah.
good, and that's pretty good actually to know a little bit about you and to know
Yeah,
your
thanks.
your company as well. Today's episode, I think it's perfect in this case to talk with you. Fluency in 3 months, huh?
Oh my
Hey, Leveler.
gosh. Yep.
Fluency in 3 months. Let's take
Hmm.
a look at what happened there. The reality behind language learning gurus, because they are the one that actually come out. I don't want to mention any
Yes.
company because I don't want I don't want to give them promos or something like it, but
Right.
many of them coming out and say 3 months, you will be the next native speaker, or you will be even speaking better than I don't know, than a native speaker.
Exactly. Yeah,
What
yeah, I
what
have
what do you
strong
think about
opinions
it?
about those. I've got strong opinions.
Ooh.
I
Let's
so
start it then.
I'll lead with the big one. I disagree that someone could be fluent in three
Mhm.
months, especially if they are a beginner or intermediate
Exactly.
language learner. 3 months is unreasonable. Um,
Completely.
yeah, um, because for me, fluency means the ability to speak or write
Yeah,
in another language in a way that communicates your thoughts clearly um, in social and professional situations.
exactly.
Um, now, I did a little research
Yeah.
and I went back to my favorite textbook from when I was doing my TESOL training, teachers
Oh,
and English as a
yeah.
second language, but it's called Teaching by Principles by Douglas Brown. And here he said, I'm just going to read it because I hadn't
Okay.
memorized
Go
it.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. L-
Fluency is best achieved by allowing the stream of speech to flow. Then, as some of this speech spills over beyond comprehensibility, the riverbanks of instruction on some details of phonology, grammar, or discourse can channel the speech on a more purposeful course.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
That's a really good chunk of information there that it's really interesting, in fact.
Yeah. In
It
other
talks a
words, you
lot.
don't have to speak um, correctly, right? You may sacrifice a little accuracy for
Mhm.
fluency. And in my experience as an ESL teacher, uh, the majority of students are afraid to speak if they think that they might make some errors.
Exactly.
Right. So
That's one of
that's
the
a
biggest issues.
barrier, right, to help students overcome, right? If it's not perfect, they
Yes,
don't want to say it.
exactly.
Hmm.
That's one of the
Yeah.
biggest problems that we actually face in the classroom. In and
Hmm.
inside and outside the classroom, people don't actually want to go and talk. As a personal
Hmm.
experience, that's what actually happens here in Asia. Let me tell you a
Exactly.
little bit about
Yeah.
China.
Yeah,
China
tell
happens
me.
exactly the same. They don't want to actually come out and start like talking. I don't know. It doesn't matter if they don't pronounce it well or they still have the problem there, but they don't do it. They go so beyond that line that they stay quiet. Even though they have a really good answer in the back, they won't say it because they believe that they don't sound like a native speaker, so that's why they cannot talk.
Right, right. And from what I understand, that's a cultural thing that expands beyond language. For
Also,
example,
yeah,
a typical Chinese person, if you ask him or her, um, can you swim well? And they might say, oh, a little bit. So in their mind, I can swim a little bit means I could swim 20 lengths of this pool,
exactly.
but I'm not good enough for the Olympics.
And before we head into the following part, this episode is sponsored by Diction HQ.
Do you speak English with a foreign accent, or do you just want to learn English? If yes, Diction HQ is for you. We are the language learning headquarters. Learn English from beginner to advanced. Train your accent to sound more North American. We tailor lessons just for you and your language needs. And want to learn Spanish? We do that too. DictionHQ.com.
Exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's the standard. They
Hmm.
actually set the standard that high. I want to say, like, let's put them in that context. They,
Yeah.
in taking your example, of course, they say a little bit, yeah, but the standard is over here, is the Olympic. It's like a
Right.
little bit, it's almost there.
Exactly, exactly. And so
Yeah.
perfection is part of the culture in many countries, many languages.
Hmm.
And on the flip side, you have people, the occasional person who says, "Of course I can speak English." And then when they say something, you have no clue what they're saying because the accent is too strong,
Exactly.
the sentence structure is so mixed up that you have trouble
Inaccurate.
following.
Yeah.
But those are the people who would be more successful becoming fluent down the line.
Huh. So that actually
Still
takes me
not
to
three
the idea.
months,
Yeah.
but eventually. Yeah, go
Not
on. I
3 months,
listen.
exactly, exactly. 3 months is like crazy, but that takes me to
Hmm.
this one.
Yeah.
Extroverts and introverts. Hmm? So extroverts
Hmm.
take a a big amount of space in this case, right? Like they're the ones
Yeah.
who actually go and they don't care. They just go and spit it out and this is what I know. Whether
Right.
it's good or wrong, whatever, here it is. Take it.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm I'm drawn to extroverts because I myself am one. And I am like that, but, back in 2012, I lived in Thailand for 2 years. And I
Okay.
was the kind of person who took my 10 little words of Thai and then went out in the street and tried to make sentences with the store owner, the taxi driver, or whoever it was. And I definitely was not fluent in 2 years, even though I had weekly lessons.
Yeah.
But I was told, oh, you can speak Thai comfortably in 1 year. In two
Wow.
years, I was able to speak Thai comfortably, but still, it was probably like if we're going to use the European benchmark,
Yeah.
CEFR,
Yes.
I was probably at an A2.
2 years.
Yes, and that was the simple things, shopping, numbers, asking for directions, um, uh, asking for information,
Normal routine
colors.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty much the basics. Yeah.
exactly. So
Wow.
I strongly believe that the 3 months,
It's crazy. Out of the
yeah,
world. Yeah.
it sets people up
Utopic.
for frustration, um, failure,
Yeah.
lowered self-confidence,
What,
you know.
what do you think? Why this became so popular?
Oh my gosh. Well, um, we live in an era of instant gratification,
Ooh,
right? I think it, I want it, I get it now.
yes.
Right? That's what we started with. Oh, starting 100 years ago with the Industrial Revolution and the development of um, cars, the airplane, um, telephone, television, fax
All
machine. You remember
major
those,
develop. Yeah, of course.
right? Um, we had so much technological advancement in the last 100 years, and now in the last 20 years, with the dot-com boom
Yeah.
starting in the late 90s,
Yes.
um, portable electronics, internet, email, one-day shipping,
Oh, true.
right?
I
You
forgot
click
about
a
that one.
button to buy something,
Yeah,
right? And it's at your door today or tomorrow.
exactly.
And so we have become accustomed to instant
Gratification.
gratification.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's why the um, the attraction to learn or to become fluent in 3 months is
Yeah.
so popular because we think, okay, we get everything immediately. I can also become fluent in such a such language.
But that actually just go beyond reality. I mean, how can you actually
Hmm.
get fluent in 3 months? I mean, that doesn't even make sense to me. I don't know how actually people still, and I'm sorry, it might be too straight
Yeah.
on this one, but I don't know how people can just fall on that.
Um,
5 years trying to learn Chinese
yeah,
and still fighting with the language.
exactly.
And it's
Right.
like how you become fluent in just 3 months.
Yes, I don't know. It definitely plays on people's confidence, I think. And if
Mhm.
you are persuasive enough, right?
Yeah.
People will believe. That's why we have commercials and advertising, because people will look at it or listen to it and say, oh, yeah, that seems like a product that's going to solve all my problems, right? Even if we take a simple product like a cosmetics product,
Yes.
right? Put this on and you will look like a movie star. We know
Wow.
that's not true, but a lot of people
Marketing.
still, right? If the marketing is persuasive, if it plays on your emotions, we know you can do
Jesus, but that actually is going too far, right? I mean, it's going to the other side. I mean, to the other extreme. I
it.
mean, I
Yeah.
know I need this to look better, but it
Hmm.
won't make me like be the like a superstar without any flaws in my face or whatever. But they still
Right.
have the idea. How is that?
I think it comes down to, gosh, human nature is so
Yeah,
complex, right? If, our emotions are so easily manipulated,
true.
and if we feel that this thing is going to help us, we're going to believe it,
That's
and we're
true.
going to give it a try. And if
That's
it doesn't
true.
work, then we'll say, oh, maybe I didn't follow the instructions
Yes,
100%,
it's
right?
true.
Yeah. I mean, even though I talked about cosmetics, and of course, I'm not sure how it is in China, but in North America, the latest thing is weight loss drugs.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
the
same thing.
injections,
Same thing here.
uh, yeah, lose all this weight and look fantastic in a short amount of time. Mm,
No.
yeah.
How the situation
So,
goes, right?
right. And so that follows through with learning anything,
True.
right? Yeah. And
And here's one of
yeah,
the things
go
that
on.
happen, you know. This is
Mhm.
one of the things that happen because people just fall into this type of a marketing style, promoting things, and which is well, a whole bunch of lies there.
Yeah,
Talking about the cosmetics, makeup, and all that, but actually talking about the language, it's impossible actually to reach such a uh, percentage of accuracy in 3 months. That's totally unreal. It's utopic.
absolutely.
It's a
Absolutely.
dream.
I
But
agree. Utopic. That's a good word.
and in this case, I have one of the questions that I want to actually just talk to you about is what are the
Yeah.
most common strategies promoted by the language learning
Mm.
gurus
Oh
promising
my
fast
gosh.
fluency? That one is, I don't know.
Yeah,
Have you actually come across to one of those ones?
I have a I can't remember how long ago it was. I watched like a 5-minute video on because I was fascinated. This guy, and I don't remember the name of the company, who said he
Better
can
not
become,
even mention it.
I know, you can learn a language from scratch.
Wow.
And his marketing was from zero to fluent in 6 months. So that's from absolute zero. But the more he spoke, the more I realized you have to spend several hours of your day um, practicing, learning,
Exactly.
listening, repeating, right? Perhaps writing. And we don't all have time for that. If you have a job, you're a student, you have a family, you have other responsibilities,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to
Unrealistic.
sleep. Exactly. But some popular strategies is they tell you. uh, where am I? I took some notes here. They say, oh, just immerse yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
right. Because everyone has the life situation to get up and move to a new country just like that.
exactly. That's another one.
Yes, by watching movies. I had actually subscribed to an app, which will be unnamed. Um, Become fluent by just watching TV, watching these movies in the
And that's it.
language, your
Wow.
target language. And I have been on and off trying to learn Mandarin Chinese through
Oh,
Duolingo, and I follow a couple of teachers on Instagram and so on. But I did give this app a fair shake.
yeah,
I watched a couple of Chinese movies. I was more lost and more discouraged than when I
yeah,
started. They tell you, oh, listen to music, find every opportunity to speak it. And once again, if you're not immersed, like, where are you going to find opportunities to speak the target language,
exactly.
right? If you're in China and you're trying to learn French,
How you
how
gonna do it?
often are
Yeah.
you going to be able to do it?
hmm
And oh, just listen and repeat. You'll be fine.
But I agree with those ones. I mean, at a
Yeah.
certain point, I agree.
Okay.
But it's unrealistic to say that if you're gonna be immersed, like in 6 months, you're gonna be doing it. You're gonna
hmm
reach that level. I mean, 100%. I mean, it's surreal. I mean, it doesn't actually
Yeah.
go with reality. So these ones, for example, if you gotta immerse yourself, immerse yourself in a language. Let's do it. Okay, let's watch
Yes.
movies. It happens
hmm
once a day, but that won't make you a native speaker, so to speak, right?
That's right. That's right. You'll pick up a few phrases, yes,
Yeah, definitely.
but not native, that's for certain.
That's another one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But immersion is actually really good. And
Yeah.
those strategies that you actually mentioned there, I actually use them with the students,
Okay.
but actually talking in a more realistic way. Well, I mean,
Right.
if you
And
immerse
and
yourself,
what is the timeline?
exactly, that's the point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what that's where I go, you know. That's how I actually use those strategies because it's
Mhm.
true. If you immerse actually yourself in that language, the language you want to actually learn, you want to become fluent, definitely you can get something little by little through time,
Yes.
not pushing
Yes.
the things like in that way.
Right.
Do you
Um,
use them actually?
I do, yes. And because I am fascinated by various languages, sometimes I pick up a few phrases in Russian just by watching mafia movies or
Oh,
something.
all right.
Or well, I in school I learned Spanish, as I said at the beginning, and that was mainly Central and South American Spanish. All my teachers and professors either were from there or were trained
Got it.
in Central and South America. So I didn't have a lot of exposure to Spanish from Spain. And I found last year I went through a kick of watching like these Border Patrol reality TV shows,
Yeah,
and they're set in the airport in Madrid.
got it.
And so instead of reading the subtitles, I just listened to the border agents talking to passengers in Spanish. And then you end up picking up a different accent, different
Yeah.
expressions. But once again, it's a wonderful supplementary strategy.
Yes,
It's not the main one. And it still will take way more than 3 months, in my opinion.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot more. So this is one of the
Mm-hmm.
things, you know, and from these strategies, I mean, I guess, for example, the immersion one, those one have been scientifically proved, right? Do you
Oh,
remember?
yes.
You got any idea about it?
Um, yes. Well, they all do hold up under scrutiny, right?
Yes,
Scientifically. All of the methods we chatted about. immersion is by far the best and most effective method towards fluency.
Mm-hmm.
And the others are excellent supplementary strategies
Exactly.
to help with it. Um, but I still think if you're immersed in a country, let's say, or in a community, you could become fluent in a year. And that would depend on the type of language, because some languages are easier
Definitely.
to learn than
Yes, that's
others.
another one. Yes.
Right.
Agree.
And whether your language learning ability is heightened, because some people have a harder time learning a new language than others, right? Some are
True.
mathematically inclined, they're more towards science, others are more towards language, right? So that we have to take the human um, ability to perspective.
Exactly.
Um, yes, but you're right. It has been proven scientifically that if you're soaked up in the language, you consciously and subconsciously, you are absorbing information.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true.
And
Are you
and
using that right
yeah,
now with your students, for example? Are you applying
um,
that with your students?
yes, yes. We
Any case that you might actually say, okay, within this time period, my
mhm.
student reached certain level. Have you checked on that a little bit?
I do. Every Actually, every third month or so.
Yeah,
So it takes way longer than 3 months. Um, I just we My students prefer an informal assessment
got it.
style. So that's what I do. If a student wanted a more formal assessment, then I'll prepare one. And then you do notice that they have improved in across the board: grammar, vocab, speaking, um, sentence structure, and you do notice their what's the word I'm looking for? Um, the long-term memory
Mm,
actually is activated. 'Cause I do have a student who is German, and we meet twice a week, and the only time she speaks English is during classes. And
wow,
even she, with just 2 hours a week, and the rest of her day, it's all German.
German.
Yeah, she says, "Oh, yeah, I remember we did that. I remember the meaning of that word. We did it 2 months ago."
Yeah,
Right? So, absolutely, um, immersion has been scientifically proven to be the best. But once again, not in 3 months.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Let's
Even
check on the
children.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, even children.
What do you think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Please interact with us. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and tell us what do you think about this 3 months fluency. Until next time, keep learning, keep enjoying, and stay tuned with the Languages Pedagogy Podcast.